X-Men and Alpha Flight #1 begins with Cyclops and Madelyne Pryor flying a bunch of scientists across the Arctic Circle. They are on their way to do some environmental surveying, and Cyclops bonds with all the passengers on the way. On board are Paul Dominique, an architect-engineer, Jean Chrétien, a geologist, Phil Discard, a botanist, Carla Ballinger, a cook, Boyd Wilson, a zoologist, Jacques Moreau, a feisty something or other, Sam Ross, a loadmaster with a penchant for reading, and Nick Rodriguez, Maddie's co-pilot navigator. Madelyne experiences some strange atmospherics, and as she goes to land the plane, a bright light flashes from out of nowhere and blinds them. In New York, the New Mutants are hanging out at the local ice cream shop, and Doug Ramsey is teasing everyone about being a mutant. Illyana shoves him off, and he bumps into a meathead who threatens to pummel poor Dougie, but Illyana scares him off, and the two of them teleport back to the mansion. The X-Men are preparing for a Danger Room training session when a Psi-Flash attacks Rachel, and she accidentally initiates a Sentinel holo-sequence set in Rachel's future. The X-Men fight off the Sentinel attack while Kitty contacts Professor X about the problem. He calms Rachel down with his telepathic powers, and the Danger Room session reverts back to normal. She shows them what set off her Psi-Flash, and they watch Cyclops and Maddie's plane crash, and Cyclops emerge from it totally on fire. In Canada, Shaman checks up on his teammate Sasquatch, who worries that his beast mode is starting to take him over. Aurora has a beast mode of her own, and she starts to hit on Sasquatch as Shaman catches up with Heather in his office. They are interrupted by Snowbird, who has suddenly fallen ill, when Rachel suddenly appears from out of nowhere and attacks Shaman, demanding to know what he did with Cyclops. Shaman tries to use his medicine pouch, but Rachel telekinetically throws it across the room, and the pouch starts sucking Heather inside of it. The other Alphans hear the commotion and jump into action, but Rachel reverts Aurora's personality to her docile side before she can act, just as Rogue descends from the Blackbird to intervene. Before Rogue can stop Rachel, though, Northstar grabs her and speeds her away. Rogue kisses him, thus incapacitating him and learning all of his secrets in the process. Meanwhile, the medicine pouch is still sucking Heather inside of it, and Shaman tells Rachel that he had nothing to do with Cyclops' attack. Sasquatch joins the fight, but before he and Rachel can battle, Nightcrawler teleports Professor X into the room, and he takes Rachel to the astral plane where he scolds her for acting so impetuously. Nightcrawler helps free Heather from the medicine pouch as Talisman arrives and neutralizes its magic. Everyone finally calms down and peace is restored as Shaman tends to Snowbird, and the X-Men tell the Alphans about what happened to Cyclops. Snowbird tells them that there's some evil magic nearby that's causing all of this, and the two teams decide to investigate together. In Asgard, Loki beseeches a favor from those who sit above in shadow, but they tell him that before they can give him anything, he must prove that he can change his mischievous ways by doing an altruistic good deed for the people of Midgard, and Loki vows to bring everlasting peace to Earth. Back in Canada, the X-Men and Alpha Flight bond as they fly to the coordinates. Heather checks up on everybody and sees that Snowbird is getting worse. Aurora doesn't forgive Rachel for meddling with her mind, and Heather vents to Wolverine about feeling incapable of leading Alpha Flight, her being just a human. Meanwhile, Northstar and Rogue scout ahead, and Rogue tries to bond with him, but Northstar rebuffs her advances and gets angry with her for having invaded his privacy. Everyone reconvenes at a curious spot of summer grass that's somehow growing in the middle of the Arctic, and are surprised to see a giant golden palace that was never there before. They are greeted by a hooded man who turns out to be Cyclops, and everyone is shocked to see that his power is totally in check. He gets introduced to everyone, including Rachel, who begs the X-Men not to tell him that she's his daughter. Cyclops takes them inside the palace where they meet everybody from Madelyne's plane, who have also been transformed into heightened versions of themselves with new abilities that augment their human specialties. Madelyne announces that she goes by Anodyne now, and she shows them her new power of healing flames, which she uses on Puck, removing the curse that was put on him so that he can regain his regular height. Rachel realizes the flame she saw on Cyclops during her Psi-Flash was just Anodyne's healing power, and she feels bad for starting a ruckus with Alpha Flight. Anodyne next uses her power on Sasquatch and Aurora, healing him of his bestial tendencies and stitching together her fractured mind. Shaman wonders if her power could help heal Snowbird, and then he realizes that she's not with them. Wolverine sets out to go find her, and he takes some of the scientists with him. Meanwhile, Cornucopia gives the hero some new outfits and prepares a feast for everyone, as Rogue asks Madelyne for her healing flames. Anodyne agrees, and Rogue is finally able to touch people without automatically stealing their psyches. Professor X is skeptical about all of this, so he scans Maddie's mind in case there's some sort of villain in there, and he's surprised to discover that she's pregnant. Madelyne announces that she and Scott are going to give birth to her boy, and Rachel freaks out at the news because she's supposed to be an only child in her timeline, meaning that she may never end up being born here at all. She runs out of the room, and Shadowcat and Talisman chase after her as the scientists take everyone to the magic fountain that gave them all their powers. Heather hears it calling out to her, and she walks into it and comes out totally transformed, calling herself Guardian and feeling like she can finally lead Alpha Flight authentically. Suddenly, Shaman's medicine bag goes berserk and he's attacked by a horde of demons that comes out of it. Northstar and Aurora grab the bag and fly it far, far away, taking the demon horde with it. Anodyne tries to heal Shaman, but she's unable to, and she announces that he's dying. Well, that's it for this issue. I really enjoyed it, even though it was relatively light on action and pretty heavy on dialogue. I'm a big Alpha Flight fan, so seeing these two teams finally put aside their differences and team up was great. Be sure to stay tuned for my review video where I'll go in depth about what I thought of this issue. Meanwhile, you can browse around my channel for more spoiler videos like this one, as well as an assortment of other X-Men goodies. Thanks for stopping by and watching today, and be sure to come back soon for more Great X-Mentations.